It's my belief that a beautiful garden can be a real tonic for the soul. So my team and I are transforming barren plots into beautiful oases for some very special people, whose courage and dedication are an inspiration.
I absolutely love it.
To build them the garden of their dreams.
I said to myself, I'm not going to say wow, but wow.
Welcome to Love Your Garden. Welcome to Hurst Green, a pretty village on the border between East Sussex and Kent. It's home to the Dean family. Mum Trish, Dad Malcolm and 9-year-old son George. The Deans were a typical happy and healthy family. But in 2011, the family's lives would be turned upside down. At only 49, Malcolm was diagnosed with motor neurone disease. It's left him confined to a wheelchair and able to communicate only via an iBoard. Malcolm's condition has meant the family have had to move to a specially adapted bungalow. But while the house is good for Malcolm, the garden is not. With Trish now his full-time carer, this overgrown, sloping plot can only be enjoyed by George and the family dog, Freddie. So, without the family knowing, Malcolm's sister Tony has nominated them for a new garden. Considering what this family copes with on a daily basis, the right outdoor space could make a real difference. It's clear the moment you enter the garden what the biggest problem is. It's on a heck of a slope here. So this is as far as Malcolm's been able to go, and this is as far as Malcolm can go.
Yeah, it's really lumpy, bumpy, so it gives him a horrible ride and a jolt in his neck, which is not good.
It's just completely out of bounds.
Yeah.
There's a rather nice bench over there, beautiful.
Well, Malcolm made that probably about 20 years ago. He was in the process of making that when I first met him, and so it's really important for us that it stays.
Oh, it'll have pride of place, don't worry. So, from your point of view, Malcolm, what would having a new garden mean to you?
I think it goes without saying it means the world. Now I am not able to do it myself.
Well, in which case we'll do it for you. We'll give you somewhere nice to come out to.
Whoa, marvellous.
We'll begin a transformation, right? But it's not going to be easy, because although it's an average-sized plot set against an attractive woodland, it's a wasteland of uneven ground and fallen trees. So I'm sending Malcolm and Trish away from the chaos to come. Safe journey. Bye. Bye, Malcolm. And I'm bringing in landscape contractor David Dodd and his team to strip it back to bare earth, leaving only a few ash trees to connect the garden with the surrounding area. It's going to be a massive job, so I'm calling in my trusted team of helpers. Hard landscaping expert David Dominy, landscape gardener Katie Rushworth, and horticulturist Francis Tophill. The first challenge is to make the garden wheelchair accessible, so we're putting in a smooth curving path using limestone scalpings as the base, on top of which will be firmed gravel.
Oh, lovely, Dave, just in here.
When this is compacted down, it'll easily take the weight of Malcolm's wheelchair. But that's just the start. It's clear that the toughest part of building this garden is going to be coping with that slope. One way is to create different areas of level ground.
So what we've done is built up a level here and another level here. Now, the sleepers themselves are relatively inexpensive, and if you've got a slope in your own garden, may be a great solution for you to be able to use your garden better.
With two key parts of the build well underway, now might be a good time to let you know what we're trying to do with this garden. Right now, the existing ramp takes Malcolm to the edge of the garden and no further. What I'm hoping is that our path will take him gently up the slope past a series of beds and a brand new flat section of lawn. At the top, there'll be a seating area so Malcolm and Trish can be near to George, for whom we're planning something rather special nearby. If it all goes to plan, from here they'll get a wonderful view of their new garden. Unfortunately, right now, the view is not so impressive.
So you might think it's strange that we're creating a slope in a sloping garden, but giving different level changes in the garden creates great intrigue, and it will mean that people will want to carry on through the garden to see what's at the end. I want to plant it up with things that are nice and low growing. So I've got periwinkle, and it's good because it'll stabilise the soil, so all the roots kind of knit together. I've also got feathergrass, and this is a lovely winter structure. It's also got great movement and texture, so I'm going to plant it in these kind of ribbons and swathes along the curve.
And on the other side of the bank, Francis is planting black-leaved Ophiopogon next to bright pink azaleas.
So these are azaleas and they like a really acidic soil. We're okay here for acid, but I'm going to put a bit of ericaceous compost, which is acidic, in the bottom of the hole just to help them along. It's a bit pot bound, so I'm just going to free up any of the roots. Firm it in nicely. One down. Many more to go.
A flat bit of lawn will give George somewhere to kick a ball about. But I want him to be blown away when he walks into his new garden, so I've sent David Dominy on a hunt for something really special. And I'm worried he might have got a bit carried away, George.
There's a lot of it, isn't there?
This is only half of it, Alan. There's another story to go on top.
How many stories?
Just one more, but it's got something really special George is going to love. Check out this, an emergency trapdoor. So it's going to be his little home, and I've got a few other clever ideas just to give him a bit of fun. Thank you. Oh!
One of the plus points of this garden is that it backs on to lovely woodland. So to connect our design with its surroundings,
Here we go.
we're planting 2 lines of silver birches. But young trees like these do need a shoulder to lean on.
We used to put enormous stakes in with trees like this, going right up here with 2 ties, top and bottom. But we then found they were better if the stake was shorter at an angle of 45 degrees into the prevailing wind, so that when the tree was blown, it pushed the stake into the ground. That meant this top can flex. It thickens up and grows much faster.
We're certainly making progress, but one thing I've learned in a lifetime of gardening is not to count your chickens.
Well, the treehouse is being built, but there's still a lawn to go down there, these borders to finish planting, all this to do, beds to plant up, the path to lay. It's still a long way from being Malcolm and Trish's dream garden.
Welcome back to sunny Hurst Green, where we're building a garden for an inspirational family coping with the effects of a life-threatening disease. We're making good progress, but key parts of the new design are far from finished. The boys have only just started on the seating area at the top of the path.
Yeah, that's on the money.
The new lawn has arrived, but cutting it to fit with the curved beds is a painstaking task. At least David's treehouse for 9-year-old George is almost finished. Time for the team and me to come up with ideas to make it truly special. The bench that Malcolm made for Trish has real sentimental value, so it's off for a facelift. And I've had a thought about how we can remind the family of the great times they've spent together.
As well as making a garden that really fits Malcolm, Trish and George's needs, I wanted to personalise it so it was definitely theirs and nobody else's. So what we've had made are 3 stone tablets, each of which, in Roman numerals, bears a significant date. The 2nd of July 1989 was the day that Malcolm and Trish met.
We're embedding each paving stone into the curved path. And next to them, we're putting in flowers that must have sentimental value.
Trish and Malcolm met at Watford Football Ground, so I'm creating a memory area of planting, and I've planted it up to represent the strip colours. So I've got yellow from the daffodils, black from the ophiopogon, and then these different shades of red from the heuchera. I've also used this mahonia, which is a new variety, so it's very different to the ones that you would usually see in the garden centre, which are much bigger and really spiny and spiky. And it has a gorgeous yellow flower on it. So we've got some nice strips of colour, and I think it's quite fitting that it's terraced, football colours, football terraces, so I'm pretty chuffed with how it looks.
Francis is continuing the memory theme around the seating area.
When people meet and things go well, hopefully it ends in marriage, and that's exactly what happened with Malcolm and Trish. And this second memory planting area is all about their wedding. Malcolm's favourite colour is green and Trish's favourite colour is yellow, so we're going to combine those two colours in some planted. For Trish's yellow, we've got this forsythia, which is one of the earliest things to flower in the spring. And to guarantee that flower every year, just as soon as it's finished, cut this right back to the crown here. And then over the summer, this will regrow up and flower for next spring. For Malcolm's green, we have this wax flower, which is perfect for a container. It really likes those conditions. Partial shade, as long as it's not too wet, this will be happy. So I think it's a bit bare just as it is. We're going to put some hyacinths around the edge, got some lovely yellow ones. So with these, either side of that forsythia, hopefully that'll make a beautiful seating area for Trish and Malcolm.
While the girls crack on with a bit of gentle planting, I'm getting firm with that path.
Do you remember Zorba the Greek?
While we're filling the garden with personal touches, it also needs to be practical. Now that Trish is Malcolm's full-time carer, we need to help keep her garden looking good after we've gone. And that means bringing in an old friend.
It's such a lovely word, isn't it? Mulch. Actually sounds as if it's doing some good. And indeed it does. What is a mulch? A mulch is a layer of anything that you lay on top of soil between plants. It can be gravel if you want, particularly between alpines and rock plants. Stops them being splashed by mud. But the main purpose of a mulch, and in the case of this, which is perhaps the most popular one that you can buy at a nursery or garden centre, chipped bark. What it does here, apply to moist soil, and that's vital. Never put it on dry soil. It will just stop the rain getting down to it and the plants will dry out. Put it on moist soil. It will seal in that moisture, stop it evaporating, which means there's less watering. It will also prevent a lot of weeds from coming through. Now, if you've got thick-rooted perennial weeds in there, they'll make it through it. But once you've cleaned the ground up, got rid of the perennials, this will certainly stop annuals coming through, and you can see it shows the plants off really well. Thickness about 2 inches and laid right over all these beds. It's going to save Malcolm and Trish and George an awful lot of work.
While we've been busy adding lots of new elements, one part of the old garden that's had to stay is the access ramp, and I have a plan to make it feel part of the new design.
We're helping to disguise it with pillar box red, same colour, containers, planting them up with tree ferns and Trachycarpus, the fan palm, a palm which is hardy in Britain, one of the few ones that is. And what I would like, Francis, have you got a mow? I'm managing these, but I need a lift with the next tree fern to get it into there. And we're just alternating them down these steps. Okay. This is how they come. What happens when this is potted up in here is that they do root out from the bottom back into the soil. So if you can get some of that compost and pop it in here. Tree ferns, not very good for the colder counties, but in warmer, slightly shady areas where it's damp, they do incredibly well. What you will find is that the fronds that come out one year tend to get killed off in the winter of the following year. They go brown, especially if snow settles on them. How are you doing it?
I'm all right there.
Yes, the scalp. There. Nice though, isn't it?
While our ferns and palms are doing a great job of disguising the ramp, Katie has plans to disguise the fence. The Dean's garden backs onto attractive woodland, so Katie's using trees to soften the boundary and create the illusion of the garden fraying into its surroundings.
So I've got a different selection of trees and shrubs. I've got some acers, to create lots of nice texture and foliage colour. They will take quite a while to reach maturity, but when they do, they'll be fantastic and really cover this fence. I've got a sambucus, which has got this gorgeous lime green foliage, and a really interesting hazel with these twisted stems. And this variety's got a really dark foliage colour. It's like a deep plum. And it looks fab if you underplant it with ferns, anything bright green, and the contrast looks excellent together.
One of our main challenges was to make this sloping garden wheelchair friendly for Malcolm, and our curving path does just that. We're putting on a top layer of self-binding Bredon gravel, which compacts down to make a smooth, firm and attractive finish. Meanwhile, some of Malcolm and Trish's closest friends have arrived with their contribution to the garden.
Look at these. What have you got here?
We've got some pots. These two were originally a present for Trish and Mark for their wedding, so quite a while ago, and they've got a bit weathered, so I've revamped them.
You've refurbed, have you?
Refurbed,
How
yeah.
beautiful. Clearly, these are special friends.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they're amazing family.
They're
Yeah.
quite an inspiration, aren't they, really?
Definitely.
Indeed. Well, I'll tell you what, we're coming up the straight now. These are going to look fab.
With the lawn almost finished, we're on the home stretch, and it's all hands on deck. David and Francis are finishing off George's treehouse with a boy's own den.
And we're going to make it real special for him. If we get long enough nails.
And Malcolm's beloved bench has come back refurbished,
We've made you space.
ready to take pride of place in our seating area. Just a few days ago, this garden was overgrown and inaccessible. And this was Malcolm's only view. Now he can feast his eyes on this. The garden begins by the back door, where terraces filled with colour and texture surround a shaded seating area. Malcolm's ramp disappears behind a line of majestic tree ferns and palms, which contrast beautifully with their glossy red planters. Thanks to an elegant path, Malcolm can journey up through his new garden, past reminders of treasured family memories, and a raised crescent bed filled with swathes of low-growing azaleas, aquilegias and cape daisies, topped off with drifts of feathergrass. All leading to a seating area marked by upright sleepers where his handmade bench takes pride of place. It's surrounded by planters filled with the family's favourite colours. Here, Malcolm and Trish can take in the view and watch George as he clambers over his very own treehouse. For more information on how we built the garden, go to itv.com/Alan.
Closed. No peeping. And open your eyes.
Oh my God.
Right? Is it okay?
It's beautiful.
Well, your view from the kitchen window is now of beds rather than a muddy bank. And there's a path which will get Malcolm all the way to the top of the garden. And you might notice as you pass, there are stones and they've got special dates on them. So the first one is the date that you two got together. The second one is the date that you got married. And the third one is the day that George was born.
It's so beautiful. I love those. They're just brilliant.
Birch trees.
It's beautiful. The black grasses that you like.
And then here, there's a sitting area.
And there's a bench that you recognise, do you?
He's had a rub down.
It's gorgeous.
We put lots of fragrant flowers like hyacinths around it. If you do a little spin here and look down, you can now see the view looking down the garden. Have you noticed that there are two predominant colours here, Malcolm? I mean, it goes against the grain for a Southampton supporter, but there's Watford football colours here.
It's just...
Will it do?
Yeah. It's just beautiful.
But this garden isn't just for Malcolm and Trish.
If you go in there and look up, there you go. Malcolm, what do you think?
Really, it's great. Way beyond anything I could have planned and achieved. And to have this as an instant garden is just terrific.
From our point of view, it's been a pleasure and a privilege. It's impossible not to be touched by the way in which Malcolm, Trish and George have dealt with the changes in their lives. But hopefully this garden will help them face the challenges that lie ahead.